It's time to turn your radio up. Turn it up! Because it's about to get live. And I mean all the way live. Here we go! It's Lady Charmaine live. Lady Charmaine live.
I think she's amazing. And
she's cool. She's fun.
The show where you will hear all of your favorite chart-topping songs and artist interviews. You'll be uplifted, inspired, and encouraged to live on the top with Jesus.
Are you ready?
Now, here's your favorite lady, Lady Charmaine.
Hello and welcome to Lady Charmaine Live. It is a fabulous Friday, and you know what Fridays are? Fridays are movie nights. And speaking of movies, I'm so excited because my next guest has starred in such movies like Beloved, Set It Off, Manchurian Candidate, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and made-for-TV movies such as Loretta Claiborne and Gifted Hands. She's also starring in a great movie. I'm sure some of you have seen it. If you have not, after this interview, you will be there tonight. Trust me. I am so thankful to have on the line one of the stars of the movies For Colored Girls. She is starring as a character by the name of Crystal. Please help me welcome, as I want to be the first one to say this, and the Oscar goes to Miss Kimberley Elise. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome to the show.
So sweet. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. Now, I cannot say enough about your role for Colored Girls. Now, I told you earlier you're one of my favorite actresses. I'm believing God that you're going to win the SAG, the Golden Globe, and the Oscar. And I want you to win the NAACP Image Award because you put so much into this character that I normally don't send out mass emails. I don't normally do that. I don't normally, just say somebody should win an Oscar. You are the first actress, and I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you. I am honored to be on the show. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, I want to get into the movie. Tell us about your character. What is your character's name? And tell us a little bit how you got into your character for the movie.
Right. I play Crystal. And Crystal, she's an amazing woman. She's incredibly strong. She's very loving. She has a huge, huge heart, which is one of her greatest assets and probably one of her biggest hindrances, actually, ironically. And she's experiencing domestic abuse from her partner, who is back from the war and suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. So she's trying to basically love this man back to the man he once was. And in the midst of that, she's also carrying the responsibility of 2 young children, being the sole financial provider for the household, and really trying to maintain her sanity and her strength in this hurricane of pain that she's living in. And to prepare for the role, I live a very clean life, I guess you would say. I do a lot of yoga and meditation. I've been a vegetarian for over 10 years, and I'm very happy and peaceful. And when I decided to do this film, I had to make the commitment to let all of that go, because those are the things that keep me centered and balanced and happy. And Crystal isn't centered and balanced and happy. And so for me to begin the process of letting her envelop me, I had to let my center go. And so I did that. And then also with Michael Elise, who plays my partner in the film, we did a lot of pre-work with the characters' background, creating backgrounds and histories and present days, and just creating a whole life for these 2 people. And then once I actually got down to Atlanta, I sort of let all of that go and surrendered to her and really emptied myself out and allowed her to flow in and use me as her representative, so to speak. And it's a really heavy process for me. It's very draining, emotionally and spiritually, but it's also incredibly rewarding and gratifying because I know I'm giving voice to someone who doesn't have voice, and maybe I'm illustrating to a woman, mirroring back herself, and hopefully giving her the strength to get up out of a situation that's not healthy for her, and maybe save a family. So all of those things inspire me and infuse me with the energy to go through that long process of creating a character.
You know, I'm glad you said that. We're talking with Miss Kimberley Elise. She's one of the stars for the movie For Colored Girls. She plays Crystal in the movie. Now, this is what's so ironic, Kimberly. A couple of weeks ago, I was leaving the doctor's office, and I ran into a friend that I hadn't seen in several years. So I was asking her, where have you been? But it was something about her, Kimberly, that wasn't right. She wasn't the woman that I had knew just a few short years ago. And so she told me that she had to flee her husband. Now, I knew her husband was he was dealing with post-traumatic stress because he had went to the Gulf War. So I knew that about him, you know, already. But she had told me that her husband had put a gun to her 16-year-old daughter's head. He pulled the trigger, but the bullets did not come out.
Oh, my goodness.
It was by the grace of God. So they had fled. And even when you see her, you see the hurt, you see the pain. And it was so ironic when I saw the movie, saw Michael Ealy's character, saw what you dealt with, knowing what she had just gone through. And so so it really hit home for me, saying there's a lot more people that go through this than what we even imagine. Now, even in your character, you played a totally different woman because your boss was a diva, your employer, who was played by Miss Janet Jackson.
Janet, yes.
And you had this inferior-superior role kind of going on there. So tell me about your relationship and how did you develop that type of chemistry on set?
Well, I mean, that's another interesting aspect to this whole thing, actually, is that women so often who are dealing with a lot of challenges at home are able to put on their makeup and put on their high heels and their dress and get their hair together and go to work and be efficient and reliable and smart and never give any indication of all that they're going through at home. And with Crystal, she goes to work just like that and deals with a very cold-hearted, strict, self-involved boss who she can never give any indication what she's going through. And as far as Janet and I, Janet was very committed to her character and maintained a separateness from the rest of us, and which worked for me because it kept us from really getting to know each other, as Crystal and Janet's character don't know each other. And so all of our interaction was within character, was within the actual dialogue of the text, and which was wonderful. Of course, when we finished, like the last scene, the last moment, the picture was wrapped, Janet and I were able to turn to each other and drop those walls and just see Kimberly and Janet and celebrate each other and sort of purge everything we've been holding, you know, our mutual admiration and respect for each other and appreciation for the work we've done and the journey we've been on and all of that. And so it was a wonderful moment, just woman to woman, actress to actress, just to be ourselves and share all that we've been holding back.
Oh, that's really good because, I mean, you both really do get into your characters. There is one character in this movie that I believe every woman needs to have in their life, and that was Miss Felicia Rashad. Miss Gilda, she played the role of, and this is what I call her, I'm my sister's keeper. And she definitely was in this movie. Now, she is the nosy neighbor that everybody needs to have.
Right, the nosy neighbor with a good heart.
Yes, that everybody needs to have. How did you develop your on-screen relationship? Because how your relationship really evolved, because we're going to get into this next part that really touched me. How did you develop your relationship with her?
With Felicia?
Yes, for it to be so genuine on screen.
Well, it was, you know, I have a great regard and reverence and respect for her anyway. And she has a very calming, nurturing presence to her naturally. And I always just felt very safe with her. And I was very fragile making the movie. I was in a very fragile, vulnerable place playing Crystal and just, you know, carrying her weight. And she always just made me, Kim, and Crystal just feel like, you know, I was going to be okay. And just her soothing voice, whether she was asking, you know, are you going to eat in the dining room or in your trailers today? You know, just even something that regular would be very soothing and comforting coming from her. Or did you get a nap during the break, or did you here's your chair over here, make sure you sit down. I mean, these things would just be very loving. And so it wasn't as deliberate as Michael and I in creating our relationship. It was more just organic and just a natural, her spirit giving and my receiving. And so
because I was going to tell you, because it really showed when she came into your apartment and opened up your curtains, and when she was letting the sunlight in, and when she said to you in the movie that how you're partly the blame for your situation, but when she started hugging you, there was an emotion that just emanated from you. It was so deep, the pain that a mother would go through, going through something that you had gone through. I don't want to give it away for those who have not seen the movie. But she had that way about her that just really caused you to just kind of sink into her and allow that emotion and that pain to come out. So I have to ask you, did you really want to scream doing that part? Because it looked like you had a holler that was just bubbling up from your gut, that you just really got into your character.
Oh, gosh. There were just so many things. Quite honestly, there's much I don't remember because I really escape into these people. And I almost have to do that for my own safety. And so I don't always know consciously what it is I'm thinking in the moments of making these characters and playing these moments. And I end up, in the end, seeing the performance through the audience's eyes. And, so it's when Michael and I did that, pivotal scene in the film, I barely remember. It was very out of body, and it was too painful to be present for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do, because everything was in you. You saw it. Because you wasn't just an actress. I didn't see that. You were so into that role. It was as if I was watching a mother, a real mom, going through what she had just gone through. So it was like you took us to a whole nother place. I think that's why I walked out of the movie, the way I did, because, I have 2 beautiful children, and I walked out of that movie just in a whole nother place. So I just want to say you literally took us there. It's like you can hear a pin drop in the movie theater. Tears. We felt the emotion, everything. That's why I just love you. And you showed us how powerful words are. When words are spoken to us or words are spoken over us. Because there was a scene at the end of the movie when everybody was saying something so beautiful. Then they get to your character.
Right.
And what you blurted out of your mouth, it showed how powerful words are and how we have to be careful what we speak over people. And pardon me?
I said that's so true.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like you spoke out what was spoken to you. It was like you were almost like a parakeet. This is what was spoken to you, and so you spoke it back in the emotion that you spoke it with. Now, were you having another out-of-body experience when you spoke that? Because everybody in the audience was shocked when you just spoke, and we wasn't expecting you to say that. That was the last scene we shot for the whole movie, and so all of our characters had completed their journeys, and so it was a special scene in that way. And for me, it was, for Crystal, the closing of a very important chapter in her life and the opening of a new one. I like to believe that the next day she would get out into the sunlight a little bit, maybe go get some groceries. Maybe that would be all that she would do, but she wouldn't do what she did when Felicia found her. She wouldn't be in that state. And that it was a part of the healing and a part of this is what has happened to me in my life, but I have to stand on top of this pain. And so that line and what she parrots back, as you say, was kind of one of the final purges, one of the final confessions, too, because she'd always kept all this secret her whole life, and everything that was happening to her behind her apartment door had been kept secret. And to utter those words that she'd heard so often was confessional for her, and purging and cleansing. And so it was all very important, I thought, in her journey and for the audience, because to me it's important to serve an audience not just with
painful, challenging stories, but a healing in the end, a ray of hope and some light. And so all of that was, I hopefully encompassed in there and translated.
Now, after playing such an emotional character, how do you decompress after a movie like this wraps?
That's funny. Well, because it was a big process. I came home and, took a look at myself in the mirror, and I definitely aged. I was like, wow. And this was something we shot over, 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks. And I definitely aged. I could see it in my face. And I started looking at my hair, and I had all these gray hairs that I didn't have before. And it was astounding to me that in a matter of weeks, I would develop, from 5 gray hairs to like 50. And it was just a reminder that the body doesn't know, it's pretend. My body felt it had actually experienced this situation and was expressing its grief. And so I knew I had to do something very radical to sort of cleanse myself. After sleeping for about 4 days, literally I couldn't move. I laid on the couch like lead. I got enough energy to go get a yoga class, which is very important to me, and started my meditation again. And then I did a 21-day detox, a program called the Clean Program, where you just eat fruits and vegetables and nutritious drinks for 21 days. And you just literally, your body just cleanses itself. And it wasn't until I completed that I really started to feel like myself again, and that I had to push Crystal out like, if you have to go. And so it was a long process. It took me, a month to do that, and to this day, I'm still, healing. I'm still patching it up. And when you talk about some of the scenes, it makes me bubble inside, and pieces of my heart are still down there in Atlanta, and then I know I won't get back. But, it serves the larger good.
So how, after you've done all of that, how did you think this movie would really connect to women once it hit theaters?
I think my hope is that women will see themselves or their sister or their mother or their best friend in some of these characters, and be reminded that as women, as human beings in life, we're all presented with what seems to be insurmountable challenges and pain and grief, and that we have to find the strength to stand on top of that pain and grief and move forward. And one of the most important instruments in doing that is each other, sisterhood and community, and basic human regard for the other. And Tyler does such a beautiful job of weaving these stories in and out, and these characters bump into each other without, really recognizing each other or acknowledging each other, living right next door to each other and not know what pain the other person's going through. And if we could all just stop for a moment and recognize no matter what we're going through, somebody's going through something worse. And if we could just be available for each other, and also ask for help when you need it. I think I'm a mother too, I'm a single mother, and I've had to learn to say I need help with, with this part of raising my child or getting my child here, or I need to take a nap. Can somebody, make dinner for me tonight so that my child can be properly fed? I'm exhausted. And it's about, knowing it's okay to ask for those things, to ask for help and be a community. So I hope that the film sort of reminds us of that we're all in this together, and that we're just individual threads of a huge, beautiful tapestry. And it won't be beautiful if one of those threads isn't held together right. So we need to hold each other together. And I think the movie really, really illustrates that nicely.
That was a great point you made, because we are so caught up in our own lives that we don't look or take the time to look at somebody else's hurt or somebody else's pain, because that's what it kind of showed in the movie, and you never know what's going on behind those closed doors. Tandy Newton was dealing with what she was dealing with right across the hall from you. You know, and you were dealing with something. And you know what? That right there is so true, and that I think that's one thing I know I'm going to take away. We definitely need to look more at people, because if you look at them, they're saying something. We just have to stop and take a look, because the eyes are the wonders of the soul. You know, and like even in your character, you know, you can kind of see there was something that was there, but Janet Jackson never took the time to really look at you.
Right.
You know, if she probably would have took the time to really look at you, she probably would have noticed that there was something, you know, that wasn't quite right, or if she took the time to get to know you. But I want to get to know you. I want to know, who was your favorite actress growing up?
Me?
Yes, who was your favorite actress?
Oh, well, Cicely Tyson. I remember
too.
seeing Cicely Tyson and Jane Pittman, and just, I thought Jane Pittman was real. I didn't know it was acting. And I must have been, 8 or 9 or something like that, and I thought she was a real person. And then I think I saw Miss Tyson maybe in, like, Ebony magazine, and it was Miss Tyson. It wasn't Cicely Tyson. It wasn't Jane Pittman. It was a different person. And that was remarkable to me. And, she's still my favorite actress. And one of the greatest highlights and joys of my life was having her play my mother in Diaries.
Right.
So,
Now, have you heard that you've been compared as the young Cicely Tyson?
I have heard that. That's a great honor. There is only one, Cicely Tyson, though, young or old or whatever, but I definitely accept that as a wonderful compliment.
Well, you have stepped up, my dear, because Cicely Tyson was my favorite actress growing up, and you remind me so much of her, just a strong, strong actress. It's like everything you play in, you nail. You become that character. And I want to know, who had the biggest influence on you as a young woman?
My parents, definitely. My parents, still to this day, they just always showered me with so much love and support and guidance, and I would not be the woman I am today without them. They're the best.
Well, that is so nice. I just want to thank you so much for joining me on the show today. We're talking to Miss Kimberley Elise, one of the stars of For Colored Girls. She plays the role of Crystal in the movie. If you have not gone to see the movie, it's in theaters across the country. You want to make sure you go see this. One of my good girlfriends, she's listening. She went and saw the movie twice.
Oh, yay, thank you.
She called me when she left the movie, then she went back to the movie the next day. The movie is so powerful.
Wow.
I do have to say this, though. I'm finding that some men aren't too fond of the movie because they walk out of the movie theater thinking they got a bad rap, right? But as I
I think it's interesting, actually, the male response, because I've had a lot of men say they really like it. And I think, it's a personal reaction. I think that for male or female, if you're walking right in life, you'll look at something and not see a reflection of yourself, and it won't affect you in a negative way. But if there's any hint of, have I ever done that? Have I ever treated somebody like that? It might rub you the wrong way. And I think that's what the challenge about the film is, that, like what Felicia says to Crystal, is you have to take responsibility for your own life. And sometimes that's hard, and sometimes that's challenging and painful. So when people have, complex reactions to something that they see, it's an opportunity for them to ask themselves, why? Why do I feel this way? Why is this making me feel this way? How can I learn from this feeling? And, and take it from there. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to observe the different reactions from men and women.
It's quite interesting to me, because I know some men may not like it because they may have done some things like that. You're right. To some women and don't want to see themselves. They kind of want to shut that off. But this movie, it was so powerful. I think it is Tyler Perry's best work yet. I love all of his movies, and they just seem to get better and better. It's like, okay, well, I thought that one was good. And then he topped himself with this one, okay? And then I walked out. I'm like, okay, this is the best work. So I want to see what else he's going to do. And I just want to know real quick, you and Tyler Perry's working relationship, obviously he must love you because he's putting you in his movies. Are you going to be in another Tyler Perry film soon?
Oh, I don't know. We haven't even talked about that. I don't know what I'm going to do next, and I'm just enjoying this right now. I'm in this moment right now.
Well, just get ready to walk down quite a few red carpets, so just make sure you get your red carpet dresses, start looking at designers, seeing what you like, because you're going to need quite a few of those dresses, young lady.
Okay, thank you so much.
Get a new glass shelf built for all of your awards because they're coming in 2011. So we're going to see quite a bit of you, and I can't wait to see when they say one of the movies with your name starring Oscar-winning actress Kimberley Elise. I'm saying it, so you're going to say you heard it right here on the Lady Charmaine Live Show.
Yes, you are.
Oh, I see it. So, yeah, so when you win it, I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to have a box of tea. I'm going to be crying. I told her. See, I told her. I'm going to tell everybody. I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. We would love to have you back. Whenever you're doing something next, we want to talk about it because I love everything you do. And I just want to say keep up the great work. You know, I know you're just going to go higher and higher in the Lord, and everything that God has for you is good. And I know your 2011 is very bright. And just remember, you heard it right here, okay?
Thank you. It's been a blessing to talk to you today. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.